Hello everybody, how are you doing? It is Sunday morning and I'm out in the shop. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to just do a little bit of lathe maintenance. I want to basically clean the bed of my lathe. Let me show it to you. The bed of the lathe, it's got a bunch of dust on it, but it just needs to be cleaned a little bit. It's not sliding smooth, and I'm worried about, as I work with it and drip water on it, that it could rust. You see some little discolorations like this where little bits of water have got on it. And I just really want to do a little maintenance to it and then put a little wax on it just to kind of protect it. And if there's time, I may do the table saw as well. Beyond that, I don't have a lot on tap. One of the things I want to work on is I've talked about organizing my shop, right? And I've started on it a couple of times and I've made some improvements, and then I kind of get stuck and I pause for a while. What I want to do now is I want, when it comes to making pins, I did that video the other day where I made a Celtic knot pin, a pin blank live for you guys. And even though I set the shop up to kind of speed things up, I was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. What I would like to do is, and I may work on this today if there's time, is get a notebook and say, okay, I'm going to make a pin. And I'm going to record everything I do for making that pin in my notebook. And I'm going to say, well, okay, I'm over here at the disc sander, which is right over there. Okay, and I sand my blank to square it. Now I need my brush to clean the inside of the tube. So I come over to this side of the shop, and hanging right here is my brush, right? Well, why is the brush not hanging over there where I need it? That's the kind of thing. And then the other thing is a second brush. Maybe buy a second one and put it over here by the lathe or by an assembly area, because I always clean those tubes out before I assemble them. Just basically walk through the process and try to organize to where when you're in an area cutting a blank, or you're in an area sanding a blank or drilling a blank, everything you need is together. And then once you make each of those a workstation, you can stop and start to think about, maybe I should pull those tools closer together, to make, like in a kitchen, they always talk about the magic triangle: sink, stove, refrigerator, and the kind of the same type of thing. But just looking to move the shop one step closer to in efficiency, right? Make it a little bit simpler for me to make a pin. The other thing I'm doing is I've got my tablet back here behind me, and I've started an Excel spreadsheet of some of the projects that I'm working on or want to work on. And what I'd like to do is kind of like project management. It's an Excel spreadsheet, and I just have one tab that is all projects, and then another tab that is plans, right? And when I go into that tab, I could say, okay, I'm going to cut blanks to length. And I can jump over to the project and say, well, there are 6 blanks. So I can organize those 6 blanks maybe on top of my maker card. And when I go to the saw, I can mark them all and cut them all at the same time. Then you get ready to drill. So, and if you look at the individual steps, you break each project that you want to do down into its individual steps, and then you lump them. So when you go to a workstation, I may sand 3 pins, and then I may work on something else from another project for just a few minutes, to sand it. It's just a way of kind of, once again, efficiency, breaking everything down so that you can do it on one tool. You can do multiple things on one tool that will advance 4, 5, 6 projects just a little bit. But you don't have to then do one project, then go back to it, do another project, then go back to it. You see what I mean? So I'm going to kind of work on that a little bit today. Not that, I'm not a production shop or anything, but I am a guy who has, a family and a job, and I stay very busy with my kiddos and all of their activities, and I like to stay busy with their activities. So shop time is always limited, and this is just a way that I'm trying to utilize a little bit of planning to be able to get more done in what time I have in the shop, because so often I come out and it's like, well, gee, what should I work on? Well, I don't know. Well, I'll start on this, and then I'll work on that a little bit, and then I'll go work on something else. And I'm very inefficient and very erratic. I think we all are sometimes. So if I plan just a little bit, perhaps I can maximize what little time I do have and be able to produce more content for my channel. So we're going to see how this goes. Something I'm starting today. Will I stick with it? I don't know. I hope so. I project plan a lot of times for my job with different things that I do at work. So it's kind of the same thing. You're just breaking things down into simpler tasks and lumping those tasks together to accomplish them in an efficient manner. So let's see what happens, guys. I'll keep you posted. All right, I just finished shooting a quick lathe maintenance video. Well, okay. let me, I say quick, it took about an hour and a half to do the work because it takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. And I shot it as a video, and I'll put it together, and it will be a short video, but it's just some basic lathe maintenance that I do from time to time on my lathe. And it just keeps the lathe running nice. I don't know, and it keeps it looking nice too, because I live in a very humid environment, and I'll get surface rust if I don't keep a nice layer of wax on the lathe. So that video will be coming out as soon as I can get her edited up and out to you guys. But check it out, and it's just basic lathe maintenance. It's just some simple things you can do. All right, I'm not sure what else I'm going to do just yet, and this is why I've got to be working on this spreadsheet over here, because I won't have this problem when I do that. But I'm going to figure it out, and I'll keep you guys posted. That's a promise. Well, I found what I'm going to be working on. Here it is, Hybrid Chaos Blank. This is going to go on a Junior Joshua. I've already got it tubed, and it's already been trimmed. All that part's been filmed already, and I will be filming this, so you guys will have a video shortly. But I'm going to turn this Chaos Blank, Chaos Hybrid Blank, made by Robert Dudensky today, and hopefully it turns out, and you guys will get a chance to see this blank. And I don't know if Robert is selling these or not. I know he had quite a bit of, he bought a box of blank cutoffs from me. I don't know if he's selling these or not, but check out his website, Crosscut Creations, and if he does sell it, it'll be on his site. All right, guys, I'm going to get over to the lathe and start turning. I've been working on turning the blanks from Robert, and here's one of them. I had to do a little fix. See that little, it's hard to see. Right there, there's a tiny little gold section there, or it's actually brass powder, I think is what it is. I had to put that in there because I was turning end grain, and the end grain was like a 1/16 of an inch thick between, you know, the outer layer and the tube, and some of it just pulled out. You didn't, I mean, I was making a smooth cut. All of a sudden I saw brass. There was no catch or anything. It's just end grain being that thin, it just couldn't hold together. And then I've got the other blank on the lathe. Let me flip around. And what I found is right under this piece of Paducah, I got it all sanded down, and there was a white spot there. And I got to looking, and that white spot was sawdust. There was an air bubble that was trapped under the wood. So I just filled that in, and notice how flat it is. I leveled it out with a screwdriver, the bit of a screwdriver, so that I wouldn't have to use a tool to clean it off. I'm hoping, this has already been sanded to 400, but I'm hoping just to take a small piece of 120 and just kind of clean that up in the middle, make sure I don't have any scratches, and we should be able to get it pretty quickly back to the point of being ready to finish. So other than that, not too bad. End grain is always tough to turn no matter how you look at it. I think the pin will be okay. The only thing I am upset about, and it's my fault, is I did not paint the tubes. I keep forgetting to paint the tubes on these hybrid blanks, and then you can see the brass through the tube. So when I polish these up, I'm not sure how they're going to look. If they don't look really good, I probably won't press them into the kit, because it's a really nice kit, a really expensive kit, and I'll save it for something else. But hopefully when they're polished, finished polished, and done, they'll look really nice, and I'll put them in the kit. We'll just have to wait and see. I just finished micro meshing this. It looks pretty darn decent. I like it. You can see my fix. It's nice and shiny right there. I micro meshed it wet. I don't like to micro mesh dry because I don't like breathing all those microscopic dust particles. So I put a coat of thin CA to protect the wood, and the wood does not feel wet, and it doesn't look wet either. But we are going to let it set at minimum overnight. It needs to dry thoroughly. Then we'll come back, we'll clean it again with denatured alcohol, and I'll put my normal CA regimen on it. Once it's got the CA on it, that actually looks pretty cool, doesn't it? One little air bubble there, but that'll fill in with some CA, and I don't think you'll see it. But I'll put the normal regimen of CA on it, then we'll micro mesh it again and buff it, and it should look pretty darn good. That was a hard blank to turn, let me tell you, and I'm just kicking myself for not painting those tubes. I've got to get it in my mind that all tubes need to be painted on hybrids, and I forget. I do it on solid acrylic blanks, but I forget on hybrids for some reason, and I got to get that in my mind. Let me see what else I'm going to do today. I don't think much. I'm not really feeling like doing too much more in the shop. Plus my son's coming over. We're going to work on a turntable a little later, so I think I'm going to wind it up here. I'll let you know in a couple of minutes. Well, I decided to do one more quick job before I left the shop today, and that is I grabbed these True Stone blanks,
I went ahead and cut the excess off. I left them long whenever I drilled them in case there was any blowout. I cut the excess off and then I squared them to the tubes. They are ready to go to the lathe. That is one of the Taylor Murfield kits. And here's the other one. This is the fountain pen, and this is, I'm sorry, I take that back. This is the roller ball. This is the fountain pen, and this is the roller ball. So this is a hybrid, which once again, I failed to paint the tubes. However, I'm hoping this one has a bit more wood around the tube so I don't see as much of that gold. So we're gonna be working on those next trip to the shop. For now, I think I'm just gonna call it quits. One of the things that I wanted to do was the walk down of making a pin today, but I really don't have a blank ready just yet. I've got all those cool blanks that came in the other day from everybody when I did the mail call. And what I want to do is I want to go through those, and I need to get them all individually marked so I know who they came from. And then there's one or two of them that are really cool that I want to turn, and I think I'll use them for the walk down. And I may actually, I don't know, may do a video on the walk down. It may be boring, I don't know, but the idea behind it is just to build functional workstations. And I'm gonna have to buy tools. I've got a 7/16 inch open-end box wrench. It's over at the metal lathe. That's where I use it the most. Occasionally, I need it over here at the bandsaw. I hate running back and forth for it. I'm gonna buy another one. We're gonna put one here, we're gonna leave one there. That way, they're where I need them. That's the idea. So, you know, you'll see some more on that. I'll try to shoot some video and see if it makes sense. You know, just to kind of show you what I'm doing. It may never make it to reality because it may just be too darn boring. I don't know. You'll have to hang on and see. But that's it for me. I'm going to get in the house. I'm going to work on my spreadsheet a little bit, work on some videos, just kind of relax a little bit, and I'll see you on the next trip. Thanks for hanging out with me.